Hey everyone, welcome back to Anlab Games. Today we're going to do a playthrough of a game called Warhammer Quest, the adventure card game. Published by Fantasy Flight Games. It is a card game of epic dungeon exploration for 1 to 4 players. So clearly this one hits the sweet spot for a solo gamer, such as myself. I'd say if you're familiar with the Pathfinder adventure card game, it's probably similar to that, but also very different. I think, and you'll see as we play through it, the mechanics are far different. And basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play. It comes with sort of a campaign that has, I believe, 5 different quests chains throughout. Where you'll go through some character advancements. Pretty cool. So, if you do not wish to see how the campaign is, if you feel it'll be spoiled, but I don't think there is definitely randomness to it, to a degree, then I would advise switching off now. I would have done a playthrough of the tutorial, but it doesn't really show you, half the mechanics of the game or any of the prep between scenarios and all that good stuff. So I've already set it up, so after the break we will jump in and I will go over the basic setup of what I've gotten done so far, the characters I'll be playing with, and we will jump into the first quest. So, see you after the break. Alright, welcome back. So, what we have here is a foul stench. This is the Uneasy Alliance Quest 1. So Uneasy Alliance is basically the campaign, and this is the first quest within the campaign. Up here we have a peril track, and that'll make sense. Different events will trigger throughout our playthrough as the peril level increases. The Odious Grump is he's a greenkin Nemesis enemy, so he is essentially in his lair right now, and he hasn't come out, and we'll go through the basic story of that. And let's jump to some of the other cards we have set up. Alright, so over here we have a location deck, which is set up to how this particular quest card explains how to set that up, to tell you how to basically seed all of the decks. So we've got that, we've got our dungeon deck, so this is like different random events that will occur. We've got an enemy deck here, which has again been set up based on the campaign, or the campaign scenario. We have a gear deck that's also been set up, again, as they tell you to. So this is the basic setup as far as, I didn't go through seeding the decks because the card tells you exactly what to do and you don't really need to see that part. Okay, so for a solo playthrough, you essentially set it up for a 2-player game, and you're going to control 2 different characters. So the first character I chose is the dwarf Ironbreaker, who's more or less like a tank. And each character gets 4 starting skills, and these starting skills do different things. So you've got a rest action, you've got the explore action, you've got the aid action, which lets you aid other players, and your basic attack action. And when you use them, you exhaust them, and they have to be refreshed. And we'll go through that flow. This is the first player token, so the Ironbreaker will go first. For the second character, I've chosen the Wood Elf Waywatcher. This is their health, and on these cards, there's different cards for each character, and their health is different. And it gives you pretty much some text to tell you how this card behaves. So this is a 2-player setup, and the hero activates twice during each hero phase. So you would normally get 1 action, and then the next player would go, and then you'd kind of alternate. But in a 2-player game, the first character will take an action, then this character will take an action, then the other character will take an action. So they'll each get 2 actions, and it'll go back and forth, back and forth. So we'll get a total of 4 actions. So everybody gets. So in a 4-player game, if you have all 4 characters, each character will take 1 action, for the round. And that's basically it. So again, it's the same four types of skills, and we'll go through the skill cards in detail as we play through this scenario. So I think that about covers it. You'll see all the rest of the goodies as we start playing. So I guess we could jump into the scenario.
The city of Champf had never seen anything like it. The youngest fell to sickness a moon ago, and their elders soon followed them into the grave. At first it was believed to be a plague brought on by the debauchery of a traveling carnival, but the execution and burning of the entire troop did nothing to quell the problem. A perplexed and dying city was on the verge of collapse until an unsuspecting rat-catcher named Jod began spreading tales of a peculiar odor, more peculiar than usual, emanating from the sewers. Jod informs you that he has also stumbled across a secret entrance dug into the tunnels on the outskirts of town. Something has recently been accessing the city's water supply, no doubt for devious purpose. You must investigate.
All right, we begin the adventure with revealing the first location, and it is the Dwarven Forge. At the end of the location phase, one hero may suffer one wound to claim one success token. So, keep that in mind. After revealing a location, you need to spawn enemies based on the spawn chart, which basically means 3 normal and 1 in the shadows. And I'll show you how we do that. Alright, so the normal spawns will come out engaged with our party. 1, 2, 3, and they'll alternate back and forth. And then in the shadows, we put one up here in the shadows, face down. So our Ironbreaker has clan rats and ghouls on him, and our Waywatcher has a gigantic spider on her. So now we've done our spawning of monsters, and we can start the actions. All right, so this is how we have to decide what we want to do. And the game is broken into, and each turn is broken into 4 different phases. There's the hero phase, the enemy phase, the location phase, and then the peril phase. So we start with the hero phase, and the hero phase is going to go back and forth between our heroes, and they're going to get to do an action. So our Ironbreaker will take an action, then a Waywatcher will take an action, until they've each taken 2 actions, and then the enemies are going to get their turns, and we'll go through how that works as well. So at this point, our Ironbreaker, who has 26 health, has to fight, or can choose to fight, a clan rat and a ghoul. The clan rat has 1 attack, 1 health, and 1 resilience, which is basically, it negates 1 damage before it actually hits their health. So it's kind of like armor. The ghouls have 2 attack rating, 2 health, and no resilience. And they have some special ability. So like, for example, the ghoul has disease, and if this enemy is engaged with you, become sickened. So this enemy is engaged with the Ironbreaker, so we need to take the condition called sickened and apply it to our Ironbreaker. The sickened condition, during your action, apply -1 success. Before your rest action, discard this condition. So he's a little bit ill, and we're gonna have to suffer one success on any action we decide to take now. So we can choose any one of our actions. So we could do a rest action, which would be able to discard that sickened. But what this allows us to do is we can exhaust a non-Nemesis enemy engaged with you. So I can exhaust one of these guys so that on the enemy phase they don't get to take their actions, which are listed here. He would also get to roll 2 die and then apply +2 shield during this action to defend. And he would get to rest and heal if he had any wounds on him. So, but I'm not going to rest. I think what I want to do is I want to attack. So into the dark, I'll just go through the cards real quick. So into the dark, this is explore, and this would let me roll 2 die. And explore lets you put advanced tokens on the location, and if the location has a value of 9, so if we get 9 tokens on there, we can advance through the location. Very similar to the location cards in the Lord of the Rings living card game, where you have to go through location by location. So a similar mechanic. You just have to fully explore that location, close it down, and then keep moving on. So we're searching for, you know, the cause of this plague, you know, in the city. But what I think I want to do is I'm going to use this inexorable advance attack action. So what this card will do, so I'm going to exhaust it, and what it'll do is it'll let me engage up to 2 enemies, but I already have 2 enemies engaged, so I move down to the next one. Now I get to an attack with 2 die, and then before this action, you may target up to 2 enemies, so I can fight them both at once. Normally I could just target 1. So I exhaust this, and now I get to roll 2 die for them. Okay, so we get our 2 white attack die for this inexorable advance attack action, but we're also going to have to roll 1 black die for each monster that this hero is engaged with, up to a maximum of 3 monsters. So they're only ever allowed to have 3 monsters engaged with them at any given time. So we roll all 4 together and see what we come up with. Alright, so what we've got here is, we've got a miss. Any hits, these symbols would get assigned to the highest damage creature, but since none of them hit, it doesn't matter. But the skull symbol is actually a Nemesis symbol. And what the Nemesis symbol represents is on the scenario creature, Odious Grump, who's our Nemesis, he's going to have a Nemesis effect. And on his is distribute 2 wounds among the party. So what I'm going to choose to do here is distribute 2 wounds, both to Ironbreaker. So he's going to get 2 damage, right? So that now that he's got his damage, remember I'm sickened, so I have to forfeit one of my successes. These guys miss, but I do get to apply 2 successful attacks, and I think I'm going to apply them both to the ghoul, because he's a harder hitter, and he diseases me. So I'm going to kill him. So he's out. And that ends this combat action and ends the Ironbreaker's turn. So then we go over to the Way Watcher. Alright, so the Way Watcher has only 1 enemy, but it's got 3 health, this gigantic spider. So if this enemy is in the shadows, exhaust 1 action. So it's not, I can ignore that. So what do I want to do? I have a number of options here. So again, I could do the rest and I can exhaust him so he doesn't get to attack me. I could explore, or I can try to deal with this, right? So I can engage him. I have a ranged attack with this character on Deadly Shot, which would be able to attack somebody in the shadows up here who's not actually engaged with me. I believe I can even attack the clan rat who is on the Ironbreaker. So what do we want to do? I don't think I want to do that yet though. So I might leave this guy alone for right this minute, and I think I'm gonna explore, right? So let's check out Orion's Hunt. So the Way Watcher's Explore action is I get to roll 2 die, right? I get to draw and resolve 1 dungeon card, and then I can exhaust 1 enemy in the shadows, right? So I think we're going to go with that. So let's roll our Explore die and see what happens. Well, I have to draw the dungeon card first, though, so let's see. Alright, so we're going to draw and resolve 1 dungeon card. So this is an item, it looks like. So, El Cap Fungus. You may discard this card after your activation to roll 1 hero die. And on a success, perform 1 additional action, otherwise suffer 2 wounds. So that's a good item. I think that was pretty fortunate, so we'll keep that. So now we'll roll 2 die to see if we were successful in exploring. And we've got 3 successes, so we get to put 3 advancement tokens on the location. Alright, as I said, we have 9, a value of 9 on the location, so we get to put 3 progress tokens on our location, so we're about a third of the way through, right? So remember, at the end of the location phase, one hero may suffer a wound to claim a success token, right, that we can store up and use on any one of our actions at a later time. And we also get to exhaust one non-Nemesis enemy in the shadows. Face-down shadow cards are considered non-Nemesis, generic, basic cards. So we are allowed to affect them. So that ends our Way Watcher's turn. Now we go back to the Ironbreaker. Alright, I think we're going to perform Stubborn Resolve. So I may exhaust one non-Nemesis enemy engaged with you, so we'll exhaust the Clan Rat. And he's going to rest, so we're going to get to roll 2 die. And on successes, we'll get to heal health points. So during your action, actually before your rest action, discard this condition. So we're going to discard that now because we just took the rest. So right before it, we got rid of it. We roll 3 successes and he heals up both of his hit points. So he's back to fresh. And that ends his turn. Okay, for our Way Watcher, I think we're going to use Deadly Shot. So I may engage one enemy, which we have. It's a ranged attack, but we only get to roll 1 die. And during this action, if you defeat at least one enemy, heal 1, right? So we're going to get 1 die to roll on this. But he's going to get 1 die as well. So let's see what we do. And we roll 2 successes and a damage. So we take a damage from the spider, but we rolled 2 successes, so he actually has to take 2 damage from that attack. Now this card here, this symbol means that it basically, when you use this action, it refreshes every other card. So even my Orion's Hunt that I used previously is now refreshed. And that's the only way to refresh your actions, is by using that specific action. So I think we're good. So probably end that there. So that ends the hero phase. So both of our heroes have gone. Hero phase is over. Now we move into the enemy phase. Okay, for the enemy phase, we basically just start with player 1, and we go around and activate every readied enemy. So since the Clan Rat's exhausted, he doesn't get to activate. Then we go to the gigantic spider, and since he's not exhausted, he will get to activate. Alright, we basically just resolve from left to right all these text boxes, right? So inflict is basically inflicts damage. So that automatically goes through. So 1 damage goes to my hero. Ensnare, if this enemy is in the shadows, exhausts 1 action. It's not, so it doesn't do anything. The third is retreat, so now this spider actually goes into the shadows, and since its actions are now complete, it is exhausted. Alright, so now we have our gigantic spider in the shadows, and it's exhausted. This other creature in the shadows is already exhausted, so it doesn't get to activate. Otherwise it would have flipped up and then gone through its actions, or revealed itself. But since it's exhausted, it doesn't get to do anything. So now that all enemies are exhausted, they all go back to readied, right? And now we move on to the location phase. So this is where we resolve any text on location. So at the end of location phase now, so a hero may suffer 1 wound to claim a success token on an action, but I don't think we need to do that, so we're going to just let that go, and that'll end our location phase. And the last phase is peril. So the peril meter increases by 1, but nothing happens unless it crosses over a colored triangle, right? So green would correspond to this text, and we'd have to resolve that. Blue would correspond to there, and red here. And then certain conditions would happen based on the scenario we're in. So this doesn't do anything, so peril has increased, but nothing has happened yet. Next round we do have to worry about it. So that ends the last phase, and we start over. Now we go back to the hero phase. So we pass the first player marker over to the Way Watcher, and now she's going to get to take the first action. Okay, so we don't have any enemies on us right now, which is good. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to take another deadly shot. Since it's ranged, we can attack that spider in the shadows. So we're going to exhaust deadly shot, and it says we may engage one enemy, so I could bring that spider out of the shadows. But I don't necessarily need to do that. I don't think there's any harm in it, actually. Just so that we don't have to deal with that ensnare ability if I don't kill it now, right? So, range attack, 1 die. So I get to roll 1 die. And again, they get to roll 1 as well, because their attack. Gigantic spider. So, 1 wound, 1 hit, and 1 shield. So my shield will negate the wound, so I won't take damage. And I will do 1 damage. So that'll bring this up to 3, which kills the spider. So we will discard our spider, and she successfully killed it. So again, this card has that symbol, so it gets refreshed. And that ends her turn. Alright, so we're going to have to play... I don't know if I necessarily need to do that. I don't think I need to do... Well, I could do aid. Aid's not bad, right? So let's do that. Before this action, you may engage one enemy engaged with your target hero. So I'm going to aid. I'm going to aid, obviously, the Way Watcher, but there are no enemies engaged with that hero, so we don't have to worry about that. The target hero may ready 1 action, but the Way Watcher doesn't have any unreadied actions, so she's good to go. And then ready all your actions. So this ability lets us ready all of our actions, but we also do get to roll 1 die for aid. So what will that do? So I rolled 1 success, so I get to put basically 1 success token, store it on 1 action, and they're allowed to have up to 2, on our Way Watcher to use and apply it to that action on their next turn. So my Way Watcher is going to apply it to explore, because I want to get 1 extra success on that for next turn. So our dwarf is done. He really just readied himself, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a deadly shot with, you know what, no, I'm going to let the dwarf fight the clan rat. I think we're going to go ahead and do Orion's Hunt, right? So again, this is an explore with 2 die, so I'm going to get to roll 2 die for this, but I do have to draw and resolve a dungeon card, right? But let me just see where we go. So we'll do the first thing first. We'll explore. Let me roll 1 success, so we get to put 1 progress token. I'll add 1 more to the locations. Now we're up to 4, which is kind of terrible. Actually, we do have that other success, so that's 2 successes. So I get to put 2, so we're up to 5, right? But now I have to draw and resolve a dungeon card. So we draw a Divine Blessing. And what's a Divine Blessing? You get to claim 1 success token, right? If you have suffered damage greater than half of your health value, claim 1 additional. So this is a good event. So we get 1 success token, and I'll put it on my deadly shot. And this event is now discarded, as it has been resolved. So that was a successful turn, I think. Okay, so for our final action with the Ironbreaker, he's going to do the Inexorable Advance. He's going to attack. So he may engage up to 2 enemies. This is where he can attack 2 guys, but we're not going to. So he's going to do his attack. And he gets 1 black die for the clan rat. So we'll see what happens here. So we got 1 damage, 1 shield, so it's been negated, and 2 successes. So he's going to do 2 damage, but he's resilient, so only 1's going to go through. But he only has 1 health, so the clan rat has been killed. So he's good. So that ends the player round. Now it goes to the enemy phase, and we only have 1 active enemy left, and that's the one in the shadow. So let's see what happens. So the enemy is going to reveal itself as a goblin warrior, and it will inflict. And since it's in the shadows, it's going to inflict on the active player 1 damage. So I'm going to apply 1 damage to our Way Watcher. So our Way Watcher is now up to 3 damage. And the goblin gets 1 more action. So we did the inflict, and now we pray. So praying means the enemy engages the hero with the most health, and that's clearly the Ironbreaker. So the goblin warrior came out of the shadows, shot the Way Watcher, and now, or snuck up and cut the Way Watcher and then charged our Iron Breaker. And he gets exhausted, right? So there's no more enemies, but he refreshes. And that ends the enemy phase. Alright, so again, it's our location phase. We're not going to do that one. We've got 5 out of 9. We just need 4 more progress to get through this location. I only have 1 more enemy to fight, so I think we're in good shape. But our peril moves up to the green.
A grinning goblin steps into view.
This is Grump's place.
He waves a nasty, filth-smeared dagger at you.
Sog off, or I's gonna shank you with me shank.
Spawn Odious Grump. So Odious Grump has been spawned. Odious Grump spawns on player 1, and he's now engaged. So thus ends the peril phase. Back to the hero phase. So we're going to give first player back to the Iron Breaker. Remember, he's already exhausted his attack, so he can't attack the Goblin Warrior. We have to decide what actions he is going to take. I think what we're going to do is we're going to explore. So I want to get through this location. Right, so we'll roll. We rolled 3 successes, so we get to put 3 more onto our location. So with 3 more, we are up to 8. We just need 1 more to get through this. Alright, so we're going to exhaust this, but we do have to draw 1 dungeon card. And what is the dungeon card? So, basically, a lurking foe. Movement flickers within the shadows. It appears something is stalking you. Spawn 1 enemy face down to the shadows. So instead of resolving this, I'm going to put it on the bottom of the dungeon deck based on this ability, but it's going to cost me 1 action. So I will exhaust Stubborn Resolve, right? Because nothing can exhaust this action, but you actually taking the action with Shield Wall. So something can't trigger that to refresh everything else. I think that's the reason why that's like that. So his turn's over. We're going to move on to our Way Watcher. Alright, so our Way Watcher has this Odious Grump on her, but I'm not going to deal with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack, right, with my Deadly Shot, and I may engage 1 enemy, so I could pull somebody down from the shadows, but I don't need to do that because there's nobody up there. But I do get to do a ranged attack, right? And if I defeat at least 1 enemy, I can recover a health. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot the Goblin Warrior. So I get one die roll for that. All right, so she's going to fire at the Goblin Warrior. She gets a die, he gets a die. And she rolls 1 success, and he does 1 damage. So what's going to happen is she'll take her damage. She'll take 1. She does 1 to him, right? But she has a success token on there, so she's going to apply another damage to him for 2, and that's going to kill him, right? So he's dead, and with this skill, if she kills an enemy, she gets to recover 1 health, so she'll heal that back, so she's still at 3 damage. And that will refresh all of her skills. As you see, her Deadly Shot has that refresh icon, so that brings Orion's Hunt back into business. Right? So her action's now done. We get to go back to our Ironbreaker for his second action. So he's got no choice but to use Shield Wall, right? And this is an aid. So before this action, you may engage 1 enemy engaged with the target hero. So he's going to pull the Odious Grump over to him, sort of a taunt, right? That's his Shield Wall. And the target hero may ready 1 action, so she can, but she doesn't need to. And then he will ready all of his actions, but he does get to roll 1 die for aid to see if he gets to give her a success token, and he does. And she is going to put it on her Explore, on Orion's Hunt, right? So that ends his turn. He gets to refresh everything. He doesn't get to attack, but at least he drew the Odious Grump over to him as to be the tank that he is. So that ends his turn, and we go on to the Way Watcher's final action. So the Way Watcher is clearly going to do Orion's Hunt. So she's going to explore for 2. And she gets 1 success and 1 critical success. So that equals a success, plus you get to re-roll it. And she gets another success. So 4 successes, that's more than enough to finish and complete the exploration on the Lost Dwarven Forge, right? So we have a maximum of 9 successes on there. So so that's good. So that exploration is done now. But we do have to resolve 1 dungeon card. So what do we draw here? Explosive charges. Oh, interesting. You may discard this card after a hero's activation to choose an engagement zone. Each enemy in that zone suffers 1 damage. Okay, I think we'll do that right now, because my activation's over. So, after a hero's activation, choose an engagement zone. Each enemy suffers 1 damage. So, he's going to suffer 1 wound. I think I'm going to give him that. Okay, so he gets wound from that explosion. And all of our actions are used up, so we do have to resolve the enemy phase. So, let's look at Odious Grump's abilities. Alright, so he does get Inflict, so he inflicts 2 damage. So let's put 2 damage on the Iron Breaker. And he does Prey, so the enemy engages the hero with the most health. So that's, again, it's still our Iron Breaker, probably will always be. And then he would exhaust, because he'd be done, but he actually goes back up again because it's the end of all of the enemies. There's no more enemies out there. So we go to location. Alright, so we've completed the exploration of the location. So we have to see if, if we've succeeded in, and able to travel through to another location. So when it's equal to the location exploration value, location is fully explored. And during this phase, we can choose to travel to a new location. So let's see about traveling to a new location. Right? So what we do is, since we fully explored it, we remove those tokens, and we will spawn the next location. And it's the Confounding Stairs. Alright, and at the end of the location phase, discard 1 progress from this location. Oh, that's interesting. So this is 6 points of progress to do it. We're going to spawn 2 enemies face up, and then 2 in the shadows. So let's do that now. And as a result of traveling, had there been any face down non-Nemesis enemies in the shadows, they would have been discarded after we traveled. So basically they're hidden in the shadows, they never came out, never revealed themselves, we just moved on. So essentially we're fighting Odious Grump right now, and we're moving along. I guess he's kind of like fighting us and kind of running away at the same time. So we're tracking him. So we've got 1, 2 up, 2 down, right? So 2 enemies in the shadows. And 2 enemies on us, right? So this certainly doesn't bode well, but that's where it is. And this red enemy is actually an elite, so that's going to be tough. We're going to advance to peril 1. So it's non-colored, so nothing happens. We will switch player 1 over to our Way Watcher. And that will finish this round of combat, and we are on to a new location. So I think that's where we'll stop the video. And it seems like we're in a pretty challenging position right now, but it looks like we're progressing, so that's good. But I hope you enjoyed the Warhammer Quest playthrough so far. To me, I think it's a great, definitely a great game. It's a good theme so far. Really nice. So I haven't played through this scenario yet. I've done the tutorial. I have not played through this. So far it seems pretty cool. But we'll go through it together. But thanks for watching. Please subscribe and come back for the second part of our playthrough. I'll try to play, at least try to film all of this first quest. Every part of the first quest. It's probably, I could see it taking about anywhere from 6 to 10 videos, maybe, depending on how long some of these areas take. But it'll be well worth it. So again, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I will see you for part 2.